Yo, what's going on, boys? Dude, I just broke through a weight plateau in my cut. I was like hovering at around 195, 196, and then I woke up at 194.6 today. Hell yeah, dude! I was able to figure something out. I was actually being stupid, but yeah, that was awesome. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this one thing that I've noticed that nobody really talks about. Um, this whole thing started with the whole mesomorph, ectomorph, and I don't know what the third one is. It's basically the skinny guy, the fat guy, and the guy that's like in between them. And the one that was in between always looked the best in these pictures. But now we ended up realizing that that wasn't really an accurate way of going about it. And as a matter of fact, we eventually got into kind of, the mainly the people that they struggle to gain weight, the hard gainers, and then you have the people that they just can't control their mouth, like they're always eating, they're always uh you know guzzling food. So that's two archetypes: the people that struggle to eat a lot and the people that struggle to not eat that much. uh I'm actually one of the ones that, if I ate the way that I want to eat, I will be like 300 pounds. I was telling this to my friend the other day. I love milkshakes. I love all of that goy slop, but I don't touch it. I don't touch it these days. And then but I feel like there is this, like, the theme here is kind of like your relationship in terms of like your physique, your diet, how you're gonna look, kind of thing. Oh, and by the way, there's also the skinny fat thing. Like those are the new three: the people that struggle to eat, the people that struggle to cut, to lose weight because they eat too much, and the skinny fat people, which is like, should I bulk or should I cut, right? But I think that there is something about that not a lot of people talk about, which is, dude, what is your body fat distribution? Yeah, the distribution of it, not your body fat percentage, but how does your body distribute fat around your like around your frame? Because that is a big one. Like, I saw this Indian dude talk about how South Asians, they get this the skinny fat look because in their ancestry there was a lot of famine, and like storing the weight, their like most of their weight or their fat around their abdomen was like advantageous, and that's why they store fat that way. Whereas you have people that grew up in the winter, like the Europeans, they would store fat mostly like in their back and in their chest, so that it served as a like a layer in between the cold, right? And I think that is a much better way of looking at it in terms of uh managing how lean you have to be, how heavy should you get in the bulk to avoid looking like shit and wanting to I don't know, like blow your head off or something. uh that's so huge, because if you look at somebody like David Lade, there's this picture of David Lade where he's like, oh, peak bulk, and he still has abs, he still looks like David Lade, you know. And of course, back then I'm pretty sure he was probably on gear. I mean, I don't know if he was or not, but a lot of people say he is. But yeah, it didn't look like your typical bulk, because people in a bulk, like, you, they look like patty. They have like a lot of padding. But the thing with David Lade is that he distributes fat like everywhere, right? If you're the kind of person that you mainly distribute fat towards like your abdomen, you end up looking uh like progressively worse the more weight you gain on a bulk. And you also maybe have to cut more than usual so that you can actually get rid of your abdomen fat, because I can totally see somebody that where their genetics, they prioritize their abdomen fat the most. Like the last fat that their body gets rid of genetically is the fat in their abdomen, which is the one you that people want to get rid of the most. And it makes sense that that's the one you want to get rid of the most because yeah, that's the abs. That's like your midsection is right there. It's in the middle of your body. It's the connection between your legs and your torso. Like you want that to be a nice transition up and down as well. And that is just so underrated in terms of aesthetics. You really have to pay attention to how your body stores that fat and how unlucky you are, because this is just another aspect of like, everybody knows about, oh, how does your bicep insert, like is it a long bicep or is it a short bicep where it peaks more, or your tricep too, is it like a long tricep, short tricep, your chest, like as you can see I have a gap like right there. Like I don't have the Alex Eubanks chest, which is the ideal chest. My chest, like, it tapers off right here, and the other one does as well. You can't really see it because I'm fat as fuck right now, but yeah, everybody knows about that. But I think body fat distribution is something that should be looked at, and just kind of just keep it in mind. I wouldn't say it's super important. Just like, this is not that important. Like where your bicep inserts is like, yeah, you got a little bit unlucky, but you're still gonna train your biceps, right? And in terms of body fat distribution, if you have like a really good one, like if you're like David Lade, where you store fat pretty much everywhere, you get heavy everywhere, and you can kind of be sort of at a higher body weight and still look lean, you know. Or if you're somebody that you distribute fat like a lot of in your stomach, you have and that's what skinny fat is, by the way. I genuinely think that the skinny fat is just people that store most of their fat, their excess weight, they just store it in their abdomen, in their abdomen. That's it. That's all it is. They're skinny right here. They're skinny in their legs, but they're fat right here. That's what the skinny fat physique is. It's just a body fat distribution um issue. That, like, it's a genetic issue where their body just stores fat that way. It's unfortunate. Well, I shouldn't say there. I kind of am like a little bit of a skinny fat kind of thing. Like my stomach is pretty big. Like I'm not gonna stand up. But I mean, I don't mind showing, but I'm not gonna stand up right now. And the solution, by the way, for the skinny fat thing is to just put a bunch of muscle on yourself. I mean, that's always the solution to anything. Actually, just put on a bunch of muscle. Like no matter what it is, just lift. Right. It's I'm kind of throwing it out there as like a factor that people should look at, but just put on a bunch of muscle, no matter where you store fat, and just use your body fat distribution to kind of play around with how heavy you can be, which muscles you should focus. Like for example, as a skinny fat person, you should really focus abs so that they push through your fat. Like when you have big abs, um, I mean, they don't push through your fat. It's just that like your abdomen is just gonna have a much more kind of like, it's gonna be like, if you look at that picture of Eddie Hall that everybody likes to talk about when it comes to training abs. You can see his abs, but the reason why, I don't think he's skinny fat, Eddie Hall. I don't think he like stores a bunch of fat right here. Maybe I'm wrong, but he seems like he stores. He like I saw him like with really fat like shoulder arms kind of thing. He seems like he stores fat pretty like around everywhere, not just in his stomach like skinny fat people. But yeah, you would focus mainly on if you're skinny fat kind of body fat distribution, you will focus on a lot on your abdomen, and you would also focus a lot on your, like, you know probably your arms or your limbs, so that even though you have a bunch of fat in your abdomen, while you're bulking, you're still not looking like shit because you have like big limbs, right? Like you have big arms, but like, slightly bigger legs. um if your looks maxing, your legs shouldn't be too big. But yeah, you can kind of mask that unfortunate sort of body fat distribution. uh that's for like a disadvantage, like how to deal with a disadvantageous body fat. But then if you distribute it everywhere, or much more evenly. Like maybe you store more in your quads, and if you store a lot of fat in your quads or your glutes, maybe too, you might not want to be training that too much because you're gonna end up looking like a lunch lady. Or that, or you shouldn't get too heavy on your bulk. I mean, you shouldn't really be worrying about how you look on your bulk because that's mainly like you're adding concrete to the statue to then like carve it, right? I'm kind of just it's just something to I'm kind of making up some scenarios for people to think about this like factor that people don't seem to look at, or as well if you store fat evenly like David Lay, for example, take advantage of that. You can be a little bit heavier while still looking lean, right? Or you can also be if you do get lean, you're going to be lean like everywhere, right? You're not going to be having to lose any muscle, like for example with skinny fat people, you might end up losing a little bit of muscle just because you have to get so lean so that your body actually gets rid of that abdomen fat, because that's mainly because genetically you just mainly store it there. Like if like imagine being like, I don't know, 12% body fat, well, not 12, being 15% body fat, and like 9% of that is stored in your abdomen, right? Because that's just how your body puts your fat around, you know. uh yeah, it's just something to look at, something that I was kind of thinking about. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I don't know, but that's just something I've noticed. And yeah, it's just something that I've sort of been taking a look at. Like, and like for example, you want your, like, from the side. A lot of people look at the front, but from the side, you really want your chest to be more out than your stomach. I feel like that's the minimum requirement for you to have an aesthetic physique. Is that should be one of them. The fact that from the side, no, without tucking in or anything, you should have your chest is like more out than your gut, right? And when you look at your body fat distribution and how your body throws around fat, that's something that you can kind of play with and take a look at to make sure that you don't look bad. Or you could really hit your chest to make sure that you can mask a little bit of that gut, right? Because if you have a really big chest and your stomach is kind of like out a little bit, not too much, obviously. Like if you're fatty, like you're gonna be fatty. You're not gonna be able to mask that, but you're gonna be able to, I guess, get away with a little bit more fat in your abdomen if you have a really good chest, you know. So yeah, considering that, I think would be pretty smart.